10 musicians, 10 deaths. And in every single case, the official story has holes in it.
Baby, I've been here before. I've seen this.
Some of these you've heard about, but you probably don't know what the investigators actually found or what got buried right alongside the body. These aren't conspiracy theories. These are the questions that were never answered, officially, starting now. Number 10, Keith Relf. Here's a name that gets overshadowed by the guitarists who passed through his band, and you understand why. When your bandmates are Eric Clapton, Jeff Beck, and Jimmy Page, the spotlight tends to drift. But Keith Relf was the Yardbirds, the frontman, the harmonica player, the one constant through the whole classic era of one of the most important British bands of the 60s, Heart Full of Soul, For Your Love. He co-wrote half the catalog. He was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame with the Yardbirds in 1992. He was inducted posthumously because in 1976, Keith Relf went into his basement to play guitar, and his 8-year-old son Daniel found him on the floor. May 14, 1976. Relf was at home in Hampton, Surrey. His electric guitar was plugged in, but the instrument wasn't properly grounded. At some point while he was playing, he made contact with a gas pipe in the basement. The combination completed a circuit. The electric shock killed him. He was 33 years old. Official verdict: accidental electrocution, death by misadventure. But here's what nobody ever officially asked. What was he playing that afternoon? Had he made any calls? Told anyone where he was going? The exact configuration of his equipment? What was connected to what? How the grounding fault occurred was never formally documented in any detailed investigation. Relf had suffered from chronic asthma his whole life and had lost an entire lung during the Yardbirds' 1964 U.S. tour when one collapsed on stage. His deteriorated respiratory condition, almost certainly meant a shock that a healthier man might have survived, became fatal for him. None of that was ever formally examined in any kind of medical or investigative context. His son found him, the cause was obvious, and so it ended. And if you've ever thought about how many obvious death scenes never get a second look, you know exactly why this one belongs on this list. Number 9, Michael Bloomfield. In 1965, Bob Dylan was about to go electric for the first time. He needed a guitarist who could play at that level. He chose Michael Bloomfield. And at the Newport Folk Festival that summer, when Dylan walked out with an electric band and the folk crowd booed, Bloomfield was the one playing those scorched, blistering leads. He was on Highway 61 Revisited. He was Al Kooper's partner on Super Session. He was, for a brief period in the late 60s, regarded as one of the finest electric blues guitarists America had ever produced. By 1981, the career had collapsed under the weight of his heroin addiction and the insomnia that had followed him for years. But he was getting better. His producer Norman Dayron had been with him 2 nights earlier, February 13th. They'd been at a party together. Bloomfield was cracking jokes, drinking champagne, in great spirits by every account. They made actual plans, specific plans, to catch a show together the following night. Dayron drove him home to Mill Valley that night. "See you tomorrow," Bloomfield said, getting out of the car. He never showed. On February 15, 1981, Michael Bloomfield was found dead in his car, parked in the Forest Hill neighborhood of San Francisco. All 4 doors were locked from the inside. An empty Valium bottle sat on the seat beside him.
In my kitchen.
The official cause, cocaine and methamphetamine poisoning. But his close friends, people who'd known him for years, said he had a well-documented aversion to stimulants precisely because of how badly they interacted with his mental health. Nobody came forward. Nobody claimed to know how he got there or who he'd been with between leaving the party and turning up dead in a locked car in a quiet neighborhood at 11 in the morning. The investigation ended where it began. 2 nights before, he'd been laughing at a party and making plans for tomorrow. And then he was alone, all 4 doors locked, in somebody else's neighborhood, with drugs in his system his friends said he didn't use. Some questions were apparently not worth asking. At number 8, a country rock pioneer who died in the desert, and a story that gets stranger after the death than during it.
What now?
Let's look at the numbers. Only 9% of you are actually subscribed. Honestly, that's tough to see. Our team spends days hunting down archives and verifying every single fact just to tell these stories right. If you've made it this far into the video, you're clearly part of the community, so please hit subscribe. It costs nothing and helps us immensely. Now, for those already subscribed, very few of you have made the jump to our membership, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you're the ones who know our value best. If this channel has moved you or inspired you, consider joining. It's the price of 1 coffee, but it's the literal fuel for this channel. Let's keep this alive together. Back to the story.
Number 8, Graham Parsons. Graham Parsons almost single-handedly created country rock. Sweetheart of the Rodeo, with the Byrds in 1968, changed what American music thought it could do. The Flying Burrito Brothers pushed it further. His friendship with Keith Richards went so deep that traces of Graham Parsons run through the Rolling Stones' DNA to this day. He was 26 years old when he died, and what happened after he died made sure no one ever fully examined what happened when he did. September 19, 1973, Joshua Tree Inn, Room 8. Official cause, morphine and alcohol toxicity. His companion, Margaret Fisher, later acknowledged she'd administered morphine to him that night. And that's where the official investigation stopped. Because before anyone thought to ask more questions, the investigation became impossible. Graham's road manager, Phil Kaufman, drove to LAX, where the body was being loaded for transport to Louisiana for burial. He intercepted it, loaded it into a hearse, drove it back to Joshua Tree and out to a rock formation called Cap Rock, 20 miles into the desert. He poured 5 gallons of gasoline over Graham Parsons' body and set it on fire. The fire went out before the job was finished. Kaufman drove away. The police came. There was no law in California against stealing a corpse. Kaufman was fined $200 for taking the coffin. That was it. So the people who were in room 8 that night. The exact circumstances of what was administered, how much, why the dose was lethal when it was. The accounts of his final hours from the people who were there, none of it was ever formally examined. There was no murder charge, no serious inquiry, just an accidental overdose on paper and a half-burned body in the desert. Nice, but that won't keep you warm. And a road manager who walked away with a $200 fine, 26 years old, one of the most important figures in American music, and nobody was ever legally required to explain what happened in room 8. Number 7, Nick Drake. Nick Drake's music never sold, not while he was alive. 3 albums, 5 Leaves Left, Brighter Later, Pink Moon, combined sold fewer than 5,000 copies on initial release. He recorded Pink Moon in 1972 in 2 sessions, alone in the studio with just an engineer. No producer, no other musicians, just his guitar and his voice. It might be the most intimate record anyone has ever made. By 1974, he was living at his parents' home in rural Warwickshire, reclusive, unable at times to play guitar and sing simultaneously, barely speaking. But here's what his parents said, and this is what the official verdict never quite accounts for. They said he was improving. In the final weeks before his death, Nick was making plans to move back to London, to try again. His mother described his mood as better than it had been in years. She didn't see it coming. On November 25, 1974, she went to wake him at noon. Nick Drake was lying across his bed. He was 26 years old. An overdose of amitriptyline, his prescribed antidepressant, was the cause. The coroner ruled suicide. Except there was no note. There was a letter near his bed addressed to his girlfriend Sophia, apologetic in tone, not a goodbye. His parents believed to the end that it wasn't intentional. The pathologist found somewhere between 35 and 50 pills worth of the drug in his system, depending on which analysis you reference. That's a significant amount, but Nick Drake was impulsive, not deliberate. People who knew him believed he may have taken too many trying to help himself sleep. The coroner's verdict is suicide, that's official, but the people closest to him never accepted it. Not fully. His turntable was still spinning Bach's Brandenburg concertos when his mother found him. A book of Camus was on the nightstand. Whether that was a goodbye or just a mistake, nobody's agreed on it for 50 years. And they probably never will. Number 6, Jeff Buckley. Jeff Buckley had one studio album, One, Grace, released in 1994. His version of Leonard Cohen's Hallelujah redefined how people hear that song, and in the spring of 1997, at age 30, he was in Memphis, working on the follow-up, waiting for his band to fly in from New York. On the evening of May 29, 1997, Buckley and his roadie Keith Fody were driving around Memphis, lost, trying to find the rehearsal space. Eventually, Buckley said, "Let's just go to the river, Wolf River Harbor, a tributary of the Mississippi." He waded in fully clothed, jeans, white t-shirt, black combat boots.
When you let me know what's really going on.
He started floating on his back, singing Led Zeppelin's Whole Lotta Love at the top of his voice. Fody watched from the bank. A tugboat passed. Fody turned to move a boombox away from the wake. When he looked back up, Jeff Buckley was gone. He screamed for help for 10 minutes before anyone heard him. The body wasn't found for 6 days. Passengers on a riverboat spotted it near Beale Street on June 4th, identified by a purple beaded navel ring. The autopsy found no illegal drugs, blood alcohol equivalent to roughly 1 beer. He wasn't impaired. He was, by all accounts, a strong swimmer who'd been in that water before. So why did he go in? That question has no official answer.
Room and I've walked this floor, I used to live alone.
The coroner ruled accidental drowning. That's what it was. But the act, walking into a tributary of the Mississippi at 9 in the evening, fully clothed in boots, no one else in the water, has never been explained. His manager described his behavior in the days before as erratic. He'd been trying to buy a house that wasn't for sale, proposing to his girlfriend, applying for a job as a butterfly keeper at the Memphis Zoo, calling old friends he hadn't spoken to in years.
Saw her bathing on the roof, her beauty in the moon.
One album, one of the most singular voices of his generation, the body found floating upriver from where he disappeared, and nobody can tell you why he walked in.
Your flag on the marble arch, and love is not a...
Number 5, Johnny Thunders. Johnny Thunders was the New York Dolls guitarist in the early 70s, one of the architects of what we now call punk rock, and he spent the next 2 decades carrying his music and his heroin addiction in roughly equal measure. By 1991, at 38, he was still working, still recording. He'd flown to New Orleans to lay down a track with German punk band Die Toten Hosen. When the session wrapped, he checked back into the inn on St. Peter Hotel, room 37. He was done with the session. A few days of downtime before moving on, when the hotel maid knocked and got no answer, and the door was opened, here's what they found. The room had been completely ransacked. His passport was gone, his guitars were gone, his clothes, his makeup, his cash, gone. Johnny Thunders' body was found on the floor in a position that neighbor and musician Willie DeVille described as bent like a pretzel. Rigor mortis had fully set in. He'd been dead for hours. Official cause: cocaine and methadone overdose. Except, his biographer Nina Antonia, who knew him well, stated clearly that the level of drugs found in his system was not, by itself, a fatal amount. The autopsy also revealed he had advanced leukemia that had never been diagnosed. The 2 men who'd spent his final night with him were brothers, Mark and Michael Ricks, both with criminal histories. Michael Ricks was convicted of 2 counts of first-degree robbery the following year, 1992. Dee Dee Ramone went on record saying he'd been told Thunders was murdered for his considerable supply of methadone, that they'd given him LSD to incapacitate him, then took everything he had. The New Orleans police closed the case in hours. The family hired a private detective, got nowhere. The manager told Melody Maker, "We keep asking the police to reinvestigate. They haven't been particularly friendly." The room was stripped bare. The drug level wasn't fatal. The 2 men who were there were never held accountable. And if you followed the Dolls long enough, you already know that what passed for justice here was nothing of the kind. Number 4, Bobby Fuller. Bobby Fuller had one hit, but it was one of the great ones. I Fought the Law reached number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100 in the spring of 1966. He was 23. Texas-born, Buddy Holly trained, on the radio everywhere. He was supposed to be the beginning of something long. 6 months after that hit, his mother found him dead in her Oldsmobile, parked in a lot next to their Hollywood apartment. 5 in the afternoon, July 18, 1966. The car had not been there that morning, but Bobby's body was already in deep rigor mortis, dead for at least 3 hours, probably longer, before that car arrived. He was soaked in gasoline, face swollen and discolored the color of blood, right arm wrenched behind his back at an impossible angle, index finger apparently bent backward until it broke, an open gas can with a rubber hose in the back seat, windows closed, doors unlocked. The first investigator on scene looked at it and called it a suicide. Here's what was not done. No fingerprints were taken from the gas can. A plainclothes officer picked it up and threw it in a dumpster. When someone asked why, he said, "He's just a rock and roll punk who killed himself." The crime scene was not secured. No investigation was launched. A forensic expert who reviewed the case file years later noted something the original report glossed over. Gasoline appears to have been introduced into Fuller's throat and lungs after he was already dead. The formal conclusion, asphyxia from causes other than gasoline, has not been ruled out. The ruling was changed from suicide to accident. It has never been changed to murder. The theory that persists involves organized crime connections through a recent distribution deal that linked Fuller's music to a label owner known for mafia ties. And a life insurance policy reportedly taken out on Fuller by his own record company. His brother Randy Fuller has spent decades trying to get the case reopened. The family never got an answer. He sang, "I fought the law." Apparently the law won in a way even the song couldn't imagine. Number 3, Brian Jones. June 1969. The Rolling Stones fired Brian Jones, the man who named the band, who recruited Jagger and Richards, who shaped the early sound and played every instrument in the room, pushed out. Drugs, legal trouble, unreliability. Mick Taylor took his place. Jones seemed, strangely, at peace with it.
I could not foresee this thing happening.
He bought Cotchford Farm in East Sussex, the former home of A. Milne, where Winnie the Pooh was written. He was talking about new projects, a new beginning. Less than a month later, on July 3, 1969, Brian Jones was found at the bottom of his swimming pool.
No more will my green seagull turn a deeper blue.
He was 27 years old. Official verdict, death by misadventure. Here's the detail that never goes away. Frank Thorogood, a construction worker hired to renovate Cotchford Farm, was at the property that night, along with his girlfriend Janet Lawson. And Brian Jones had fired Thorogood the day before, told him the work was unsatisfactory and he wouldn't be paid. 24 hours later, Jones was dead. Sussex police investigated, case closed. Then in November 1993, Thorogood was dying. He told the Stones driver Tom Keelock, who later went public with it, "It was me that did Brian. I just finally snapped."
Oh, baby, it just happens every day.
Keelock later walked the story back. Thorogood died without ever being formally questioned about what happened at that pool. Sussex police reviewed the case in 1984. They reviewed it again in 1994. In 2009, an investigative journalist presented new evidence, and they reviewed it a third time. Each time, the case was not officially reopened.
I see my red door and I want it painted black.
Jones's daughter, who didn't learn the identity of her own father until 2002, said publicly, "I think he was murdered, and I think the police did not investigate it the way they should have." He founded the band. They fired him. He was dead within a month. The man who may have killed him confessed on his deathbed and was never charged. The pool has since been filled in. The case is still closed.
No more will my green seagull turn a deeper blue.
Number 2, Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison fled to Paris in March 1971. Behind him, a failed obscenity trial in Florida, a music career he'd grown to resent, and a body that barely resembled the man who'd sung Light My Fire. He went to write poetry, to disappear into something else, to be left alone. He would never come back. July 3, 1971, Pamela Corson found him in their bathtub at 17 Rue Boutrés. He was 27 years old. The official cause of death, heart failure. Other documents list respiratory failure. The exact phrasing depended on who filed what. Here is what did not happen. An autopsy, not one. A doctor came to the apartment, viewed the body, and signed the death certificate. That doctor's signature was later deemed illegible. Nobody could identify who he was or verify his credentials. No name, no trace. Here is what else didn't happen. Morrison's parents were not notified. Pamela told the American embassy he had no immediate family, so burial could move forward without interference. The cheapest available coffin was ordered, about $75. His body stayed in the apartment for 72 hours, summer heat in Paris, before the coffin arrived. By the time Doors manager Bill Siddons flew in from Los Angeles, there was a sealed box and a piece of paper. He later said he never actually confirmed the body inside was Jim's. Ray Manzarek asked the same question aloud. How do you know it wasn't 150 pounds of sand? Pamela Corson died 3 years later. Heroin overdose, age 27. Whatever she knew about that apartment on July 3rd died with her. A French journalist named Sam Burnett later published a book claiming Morrison actually died of a heroin overdose in a nightclub bathroom and was transported to the apartment afterward. That theory has never been proven. It's also never been disproven. Because without an autopsy, without a verifiable doctor, without a reliable witness, there's no physical record to anchor the story to. The official answer is heart failure. The honest answer is nobody knows. And which version you believe says something about how much you trust the people who were in that room. Number 1, Jimi Hendrix.
I heard you shot your lady down, you shut her down.
September 18th, 1970, Samarkand Hotel, Notting Hill, London. Jimi Hendrix was 27 years old. Unlike Jim Morrison the night before on this list, there actually was an inquest, an official proceeding.
Yeah, I'm going way down south.
A coroner examined the evidence. The coroner returned an open verdict, meaning the evidence was insufficient to determine whether it was accident, suicide, or anything else. That verdict has never been officially revised. In 55 years, it has never been closed. Here's why.
Hey, Joe, I heard you shot your lady down.
Hendrix had spent the previous evening at a party in Notting Hill, returning after 3 a.m. to the flat of Monica Danneman, a woman he'd known for a matter of days. What happened next became the problem. Danneman changed her account multiple times across different statements, what time she found him, whether she called for help immediately or delayed, whether he was still alive when the ambulance arrived. The paramedics who responded said he was already dead when they got there. She maintained he was alive. Eric Burden was reportedly at the flat that morning and helped remove drug paraphernalia before anyone made the call.
Down, you shut her down. Yeah.
9 of Danneman's Vesperac sleeping pills were missing. Each tablet was 18 times the recommended dose. And then there's the detail the official narrative never adequately explained. When the pathologist examined Hendrix, what he found in the lungs wasn't primarily vomit. It was wine.
Way down, I can be free.
Large amounts of red wine, described in the post-mortem as the dominant substance in the respiratory tract. Wine does not travel that deep into the lungs from choking on vomit. It gets there a different way. That detail was noted in the official record. It was never explained. A year after Hendrix's death, roadie Tappy Wright claimed that Hendrix's manager Michael Jeffrey made a drunken confession to him in 1971. The words, as Wright recorded them, "I had to do it, Tappy. You understand, don't you? Jimmy was worth much more to me dead than alive." I was in London the night of Jimmy's death. We went round to Monica's hotel room, got a handful of pills and stuffed them into his mouth, then poured a few bottles of red wine deep into his windpipe.
I heard you shot your lady down, you shut her down.
Jeffrey had recently taken out a $2 million life insurance policy on Hendrix. Their management contract was set to expire in December 1970. Michael Jeffrey died in a plane crash in March 1973. Monica Danneman was found dead in her car in 1996. Carbon monoxide poisoning, ruled suicide. She had been receiving death threats connected to Hendrix's death for years.
Yes, I did, I shot her.
The greatest guitarist who ever lived. An open verdict sitting on the books. A manager's confession that died with the man who gave it.
Hey, Joe.
And a coroner's question about red wine in the lungs that nobody has officially answered. 55 years, still open.
Way down, I can be free.